Good morning, Ms. Ramita and friends. Today we will be discussing the solution to Aus problem. In this group, there is me and Carlen. Okay, so what went wrong? To address Aus inefficient use of procedures, it is advised to enhance standard operating procedures and ensure that all employees follow them correctly. This will improve the company's long-term performance and prevent from collapse. So for the steps, we will recommend a five-step process taken from ATIM in 2024. So for the first step is to create understandable procedures. Use simple language and relevant examples to make them easy to understand. Break down lengthy procedures into smaller manageable sections with clear headings. This will make it easier for employees to understand. For the second step is to document procedures as simple steps or checklists. Document procedures in a step-by-step or checklist format. People will find it easier to follow procedures when they are documented as steps and they enjoy checking things off a list. The third step is to make it easy for employees to access your procedures. Avoid using printed SOP documents. They can get lost, damaged, or stolen. Instead, ensure that your procedures are all in one place so that your employee knows where to find them. For the fourth step is to emphasize importance of procedures to employees. Following procedures can help employees work without being micromanaged, as they have clear guidelines to follow. This leads to increased trust from management as employees are demonstrating their ability to work effectively. Additionally, following procedures can help employees avoid safety hazards, which is crucial in any workplace. So for the last step is to use rewards and positive reinforcements to the employees. Everyone loves to be appreciated, and according to research, workplaces where employees are happy are 13 times more productive. This is taken from the research from University of Oxford in 2019. Recognizing or rewarding them by giving them Employee of the Month or motivating items will motivate employees to continue doing good work. So, and then who will do the project is number one is supervisors. We want supervisors to provide guidance, monitor performance, and reward employees for following procedures, create a culture of compliance, and ensure the procedures are followed correctly. And then human resources, we want them to ensure employees to have the necessary training and resources to follow procedures effectively, provide regular training, create a single source of truth, and recognize and reward employees for following procedures. Quality checker. Quality assurance, monitor and evaluate the effectiveness of procedures and provide feedback for improvement. Help employees follow procedures with training and resources. And lastly, experts, mostly IT. We want them to ensure systems and tools support the effective implementation of procedures, develop software databases, and provide technical support for employees. Last but not least, workers. We want them to understand and follow procedures to perform tasks correctly, to build a reputation for high quality work, and avoid safety hazards. Following procedures can lead to increased efficiency, trust, and safety. Costs. So creating procedures involves a significant investment of time and resources. Next is digitalizing cost. This can involve the cost of scanning or photographing the paper documents, as well as the cost of any software or tools used to store and manage the digital procedures. Opportunity cost. The opportunity cost of creating procedures is the cost of not doing something else with the same resources. For example, if an organization spends time and resource creating procedures, they may not be able to spend that time and resources on other projects or initiatives. Lastly is the cost of hiring experts. This can include the salary of hourly rates of the experts, as well as any travel or accommodation expenses if they need to physically visit the organization. So how long will the procedures be? So it depends, but assuming that Ozair is a big company, it will take longer for them to create simple procedures and digitalizing procedures, as they have a lot of procedures to make and to digitalize. And making a to-do list is what you do after a change in task. Showing employees and rewarding them is done after implementing the new SOP. So location of the task. They can do it in an office to create the new procedures so that it is easy to pass around the new procedures for everyone to check. They will implement the new procedures inside the office and outside the office where they work. So potential problems that we came up with is lack of clear communication. Miscommunication among team members or stakeholders can lead to misunderstanding and incorrect implementations of the fix. And second is the resistance to change. Employees may be resistant to new procedures or changes, which can slow down the implementation process. Next is the lack of resources. Fixing procedures may require additional resources such as time, money, or personnel, which may not be readily available. Lastly is inadequate training. If employees are not properly trained on the new procedures, they may not be able to perform their tasks effectively, leading to errors or inefficiencies.
Thank you, Ben. Moving on to the second recommendation, cross-training program. To address the issue of labor quality deficiency at OZR, a cross-training program should be implemented. Cross-training program is the act of training worker to do multiple tasks professionally, enhancing workforce flexibility and productivity. To implement the cross-training program in OZR, these are some tasks that needs to be carried out according to HR Line of 2023. First, by setting up clear goals such as outlining the objective of the cross-training program such as improving labor quality efficiency. Second, identify the roles and responsibility of each employee. Managers should list all employees and group them based on job description and responsibilities. This will help them identifying the roles that require cross-training and skill required for each role. Third, cross-reference skill. Match the skill required for each role with the skill owned by employees. Next, identify the method of training. Choose the most suitable method of training based on industry, skill being taught, and training abilities. This could be on-the-job training or off-the-job training. Fifth, explain the benefit of cross-training. Communicate the benefit of the cross-training program to employees, emphasizing on the positive aspects. Next, implementing the cross-training program. After that, consider implementing a rotation plan in which members spend half or full day every few months working in a role for which they were cross-trained. This will help them retaining the skill learned. Encourage employees to give feedback. This can help in improving future cross-training programs. Next, incorporate cross-training program into employee goals and performance evaluation to encourage continuous learning and development. Last but not least, monitoring and evaluating their progress and performance as a part of controlling function of POLC. By following this step, OZR can successfully implement a cross-training program that will help in improving labor quality and efficiency. People that are in charge in carrying out the tasks are HR department, people manager, change management team, trainers, and employees. HR department are responsible for identifying roles, cross-referencing skill, and creating job rotation. People manager. They will work closely with the HR department to ensure that they will feel comfortable talking about cross-training opportunities with their employees. They will also be responsible for implementing the cross-training program and ensuring that it is integrated into employee goals. Change management team. They will communicate the need and benefit of cross-training, gather feedback from employees, and realign the program to meet employee needs and expectations. Trainers. They will be responsible for identifying the method of training, such as on-the-job, off-the-job, or online training. Last but not least, the employees. These are the ones who are trained in the cross-training program, practicing the necessary skill, and giving feedback to improve future cross-training programs. Timeline and completion of the task. The following step involves setting up training schedules for employees, and it is crucial to take into account their existing workload and schedule training sessions according to J 2021. The next step is ensuring that it is manageable for everyone involved. Even an hour of training per week can lead to great results over several months. Setting up goals and identifying roles and highlighting benefit of cross-training can be completed within 1 to 2 weeks, whereas cross-referencing skill and method of training can be completed within 2 to 4 weeks. The cross-training program itself 4 to 6 weeks. Monitoring and evaluating. This step is an ongoing process with regular assessment and adjustment made as needed. The location for the cross-training program can be determined based on the specific needs and resources of the organization, including accessibility, space, comfort, and safety. The location should be easily accessible to all employees, ensuring they can participate in the training without significant travel time or expenses. If OZR has a headquarters, it may be convenient to hold the cross-training program there, as it can be easily accessible to all employees. The location should have sufficient space to accommodate the number of employees participating in the cross-training program. Many airlines have dedicated training centers where they can conduct various training programs, including cross-training. These centers may have specialized facilities and equipment to support the training. Moreover, change of environment, such as off-site location, may be conducive to learning and collaboration. Last, safety standard in the training program. The costs associated with implementing the cross-training program can be categorized into three: training cost, opportunity cost, and time cost. Cost of training cost can vary depending on the type of training provided, such as off-the-job or e-learning courses. Training may require employees to take on new tasks that are outside their usual roles, which could lead to a reduction in their productivity in their current roles. Additionally, cross-training may require the company to invest in resources or infrastructure that could be used for other purposes. Lastly, time cost. Cross-training requires a significant investment of time from both the trainers and trainees. Potential problems that may arise from implementing a cross-training program in OZ include employee resistance, loss of focus, additional workload, and time constraints. If employees perceive the cross-training program as an increase in workload without any additional compensation, they may resist participating in the program. It is essential to communicate the benefit of the program and dispel any misconception about the training. Loss of focus. Cross-training may lead to employees becoming jack of all trades, master of none. Additional workload. Cross-training can add to existing workload of employees. To manage this, it is crucial to ensure that employees can balance their regular work with the cross-training program. Last but not least, time constraint. The program should be planned carefully and the employees should be given adequate time to participate in the training. Thank you.